We are back here for our second game at Jack Couch Park between the Waterloo Warriors and the Western Mustangs. Of course, leading off in the top half of our first inning, the Western Mustangs, the left-handed bat, facing off against Hepburn, the new pitcher for the Waterloo Warriors. Hepburn, he's a guy that is super talented on the mound. His last few times he's faced off against Western, he had some complete games, so we'll see what he can do here as that is hit sharply down the left field line. It's a 1-2 count now. Finding ourselves there in the top half of the first inning. Hepburn, a storied pitcher at the University of Waterloo. Pitch in, pitch outside. Looking to work his way into this count here. 2-2 the count. Hepburn looking to attack here. A fastball pitcher. He's a guy that really has one word in his vocabulary, and that is attack. He likes to go at them, and he likes to bring the energy. We'll see what he can do here. 2-2. Pitch in, just outside. Hepburn unable to find the zone there on the evened up count. It brings us to a full count now, 3-2. The left-handed batter, Nierenberger, started off our last game with a huge right field shot, a solo home run on the first pitch of the game to Armitage, who very quickly recovered after that and had an excellent outing in our first game. Swung on and swing misses as Hepburn sits down the first batter of the game and gives him a little stare down as he is bringing the heat. He's bringing the attitude. It's the Hepburn that we know and love. As the second baseman, left-handed bat, McLean making his way up now to face off against Hepburn, who's already retired his first batter of the game. First pitch swung on, fouled straight back. As we're seeing a good one-on-one battle here. One strike, one out so far early on in Hepburn's day. Pitch finds the strike zone beautifully on the paint there. Hepburn gets himself up 0-2 in this count, and that's an early lead. Hepburn making it look good so far. One inning of play. The 0-2 pitch flies up and out. A wild pitch. Don't think he's going to get him swinging on that one as the count moves to a 1-2. Still one out on the board for the second baseman, McLean, for the Western Mustangs. Wind not quite as heavy as it was before. Still blowing out to left center field here at Jack Couch Park on our overcast day. In between games, we had a slight bit of rain, but it seems to have cleared up for some baseball. 1-2 swung on and missed again. Hepburn with 2 straight strikeouts. That's how you like to start your day, as Ferguson making his way up. The catcher for Western. We'll see what he can do. The pitch swung on, hit hard to the shortstop, who will pick up, throw over to one, easy out there as the Waterloo Warriors 1-2-3. 2 strikeouts and a ground out will advance us over to the bottom half of the first inning.
Batting, number 20, Adam Leatherland.
Leatherland making his way up to lead off our second game here at Jack Couch Park. If you are just tuning in, we are at the bottom half of the first inning. The score, no runs for Western thus far. We'll see what Waterloo can do as the first pitch into Leatherland is a called strike. Second pitch in, swung on, and there's two quick strikes against Leatherland, the leadoff batter for the Waterloo Warriors. If you missed our first of two games this afternoon, well, it was quite the exciting one with home runs galore, leading to a lot of the runs scored. As there is the second pitch of the at-bat, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Leatherland, the center fielder for your Waterloo Warriors. The 1-0 pitch comes in, hit sharply down the first base side, and a beautiful grab by the Waterloo Warriors first base coach, making it look easy down there. As the pitcher for your Western Mustangs, Shannon, taking the mound, the right-hander. 1-2 still the count after that foul ball, with the wind really picking up here on our overcast day at Jack Couch Park. Swung on, hit hard to the second base side, and it will get past him. And it, big single to start the bottom half of the first inning for the Waterloo Warriors, just getting through the gap in the infield.
Now batting, number 29, Nico Valvo.
Valvo making his way up now. Didn't play in the first, but is suiting up for our second of 2 games. The first pitch in from Shannon will be a strike against. Throw down to 1 after the pitch was in. 1-1 now the count against Valvo. Making his way into the game here for the Waterloo Warriors with a runner on first base. And the aggression still from the Warriors, just picking up a win a couple hours ago. They look to keep that rolling. As the runner on first goes, the throw down and away, and the throw down to second won't make it in time. Safely in there was Leatherland on the steal. As the count advanced now to 2-1. Valvo finding himself in a good spot now with a runner on scoring position, no outs against, and ahead in the count. As Shannon looks in for the Mustangs to get his signs. Pitch in, hit hard down the first base line, but will be hit foul. Even up count now, 2-2. After that last foul ball, pitch comes in, swung on and missed from Valvo. He will sit down. A good strikeout there from Shannon, the pitcher for Western. Again, his first out of the game. Has a runner on second base, and now 1 out.
28, Carter Pitt.
Kip now coming up, the third baseman from the game earlier on today. New right-hander in the box. As the pitcher steps off the mound, no throw over, forcing Leatherland to give up his lead that he had and gained right there. As the pitcher for Western, Shannon, looking in, getting his signs. Pitch comes in, chopped sharply, foul. Back over towards the Waterloo dugout down the third base line. As the batter here takes a little timeout, looking over at his signs, and is set to resume the battle here. Down in the count. 0-1 with the wind blowing out, so you know the Warriors are going to want to sky some of these balls. As that one is hit hard up in the air over to the shortstop. And he'll range back on it. Get called off by the left fielder for Western as they will get their second out of the inning on a ball that was skied so high the wind made no difference. Straight up, straight down, second out.
Now batting, number 44, Arthur Kawara.
Quara making his way up now, one of the 2 home run hitters in the game earlier today for the Waterloo Warriors. Him and Shepard going yard. As the first pitch in off speed catches the inside part of the plate. A beautiful pitch there from Shannon, who aside from the one base runner so far has been dealing to start the bottom half of the first inning. A beautiful strike comes in there from Shannon. Looks to go to that off speed inside again. Gets the batter for Waterloo swinging. As the 0-2 pitch, can't get him swinging. Cora in the box, standing strong. The count now, 1-2. Still got Leatherland out on second base. As the pitch comes in, fouled straight down, and he wants it, and he wants to do damage. You can tell already. As the count will remain 1-2 here. Looking in, Shannon getting his signs. As the wind continues to pick up, Shannon facing off against a dangerous hitter in Quora. Swung on and chop foul again, trying to dance outside the strike zone for him and really attacking outside the zone. Doesn't want to give Quora anything that he can unleash, especially in a swinging situation. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Quora trying to stay alive. And that wind really ironing out towards center field here. The flagpole going crazy. As that's a hit by pitch from Quora. No, calling it a foul, saying it hit the bat first, which definitely sounded like it in the way Quora reacted. Definitely looked like it as the count will remain 1-2, and Quora will stay in the batter's box. Talking with the umpire right now. And, of course, you're getting bench boss coming out here for the Waterloo Warriors, as that was Shannon's first pitch that he's really kind of lost the control of. We'll see as the umpires deliberate in the middle of the field here what they come to a decision on. They've made their decision, coming over to the coach. Now we're not seeing any fireworks quite yet. Usually these, well, not usually, but sometimes these come with a lot more anger and a lot more hats being thrown and dirt being kicked. So far, pretty clean afternoon here in Jack Couch Park. Of course, our first of our 2 games was nice and easy, a 3-1 victory for the Waterloo Warriors. And, no reason for the managers to come out, so I call it a clean game. And as we're dusting off and getting a little timeout, a little respite before we resume our play here. You want to hope that doesn't get in the head of Quara, the batter for Waterloo. With a runner on second base, that's Leatherland, the leadoff batter for the Waterloo Warriors. Made his way on with a single and a stolen base. Swung on, hit high up in the sky to center field. Coming in on it is the center fielder, calling off his right fielder, and will make the grab. As that will ends the inning. 1 hit allowed, but relatively clean for Shannon. We'll see you in the top half of the second inning. Mayhew making his way up now for the Western Mustangs, who had a solid outing in his first game. Mayhew, the designated hitter. I know for a fact on base at least once in that last game. We'll see what he can do here. Leading off the top of the second inning, the fourth batter in the order for the Mustangs has the first pitch in from Hepburn. Here's a strike, and it had some heat behind it. Second pitch in, goes with the off-speed pitch, but cannot get it to hit the inside part of the zone. Hepburn wanted that, but he's going to have to put it a little more over the middle if he wants that call. It's 1-1 now, the count against the veteran pitcher for the Waterloo Warriors. Man, that his last two outings against Western were complete games. Pitch in, beautiful strike call. Just freezes up the batter completely and gets that called strike from the umpire to put him ahead in the count. And 1-2 now for your Waterloo Warriors. And Hepburn on the mound. We'll see now as he enters his windup. And again, with that off-speed pitch, can't quite tickle the inside part of the strike zone, and he wants it. We'll see what he can do here as the count is now evened up 2 apiece. As Hepburn looks in, gets his sign. 2-2 pitch. Gets yanked into the dirt. He wanted to put him away with the heat with the fastball, and he was not going to go back inside with it. Back-to-back inside breaking balls. And then, of course, responds by yanking the fastball outside. We'll see what he can do here. Full count. Hepburn, first inning. Nice and easy. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Pitch in, chopped sharply to the shortstop, just over his head as that hits a trampoline in the infield. Nothing you can do about that one there, and unfortunate base hit against Carson Hepburn. That ball just took off and jumped on him. He could have been 8 feet tall, and it would have been a close call on that one. I'm not sure he would have been able to get to it even then, as that ball just got up and went. As unfortunately so. Shortstop looks to be Grant again for the Waterloo Warriors, unable to get to that one as that's hit sharply up to Hepburn. Corralled by the second baseman, who will flip over to 2, and they'll get their fielder's choice for the first out of the inning. That was Sillett who just grounded out there for the Western squad. Hawk now up. Not bad. Hepburn checks on his runner off first base there with 1 out against. Still has the fear of the steal, and the steal on the first pitch as the throw down not in time. As that will be a stolen base. As the off-speed pitch from Hepburn. If that's the heat, then there's a very good chance he gets thrown out at 2. But Hepburn decided to start off his at-bat with a little more off-speed. Tried to get him to swing, tried to get him to miss, but unfortunately could not do so. 1 ball, no strikes, with a runner on 2. As we got a quick little mound visit here. Got Hepburn back into the game. Of course, he does have that runner on 2 to deal with. Scoring possession early on here in the top half of the second inning. Pitch in, swung on and missed. As when the heat gets going, you can't handle it. As that was beautiful from Hepburn. Fastball on the outside part of the zone to the left-handed bat in Hawk. With the wind going in Hawk's favor. Center to right field now as it's been ranging towards left all day. We'll see how Hepburn decides to attack here. 1-1 count. And he gets the off-speeder just
off the plate just a little bit. He's gotten close with this, and he has his command, just not quite exactly where he wants it. He has got to shift his target zone just a little bit, and that's the danger with those off-speed pitches, is you don't want to groove them in the zone. You don't want to leave them hanging. As Hepburn gets set with the 2-1. Swung on, hit hard, but fouled down the third base side. Will advance the count to 2-2. Hepburn trying to get out of the situation here with the runner on second base and 1 out against. I'm sure he'd be feeling much more confident if he's able to get this put away, whether that be. And you know Hepburn, a man with lots of confidence. He wants to get this strike out. We'll see if he can do it here as he gets his pitch. He likes his pitch. And he's set with the 2-2. Pitch in, swung on, and hit hard. Just past the bleachers there down the third base side. And Hawk has got his eyes on these pitches here. He's seeing them well. Not well enough to hit them into play, but we'll have to keep our eye on that as he is one good time up away from scoring that runner on 2. Hepburn, he's got to dig in here on the mound. 2-2, the count remains as he looks in, gets his pitch that he likes. Runner goes from second to third on what looks to be a hit and run as Hawk was in swing mode. It looked like a great pitch from Hepburn, but battled off again. Hawk seeing the ball quite well right now. Runner going from second to third. That's interesting, though. Believes in his wheels, and he believes in the hit and run, obviously. But, you know, he had a good get up and go. Timed up Hepburn's release. The count will stay 2-2. As Hepburn still trying to put away his third batter of the game. As he steps off, looks back over at the runner on 2. We'll get a little bit of a moment to reset and reconvene as we look to get our next pitch in the at-bat here. 2-2. Count remains. The wind still out in center field. Pitch in, pitch down in the dirt, and this will advance the runner from second to third, and Hepburn has to come down and cover home plate as the turn, no burn, as that's 2 stolen bases now for the first base runner of the game for the Mustangs. It's also the count being filled up against Hepburn there. He's going to really have to dig in here if he doesn't want to allow 2 base runners early on here in this game, top half of the second inning. As he looks in, gets his signs, and enters his windup. And swung on again and fouled back to that third base side. This lefty cannot go down, but he cannot get it in play. We're stuck in a eternal limbo here in full count. Hepburn's finding his pitches, but Hawk also finding them. It's been a great battle so far. We'll see how this rages on. A runner on third base. Anything in play will score a run here with just 1 out against. As that one swung on, chopped to the first base side. Foul ball as the battle continues. The war rages on. And the longer and longer we go here, the more and more exhausted our athletes are going to get. This is becoming a war of attrition real quick. 3-2, the count remains 1 hit apiece for each team in the early goings of our game. Connors on deck for Western. As the full count swung on, fouled back to the third base line yet again. This guy can't go down. Talk about staying alive. Talk about seeing the ball well. This is everything you'll take if you're a Western fan here. Even if he's out, he has increased that pitch count tenfold. As Hepburn trying to put away the batter here, Hawk. Swung on, hit hard to the shortstop. Good snag. Will get the second out of the game, and that's how that was going to end. There was no way there was going to be a strikeout or anything else other than a ball in play. That one, luckily for the Waterloo Warriors, hit right to their shortstop, and will give them their second out of the inning. Whew, what a long at-bat. You love to watch those. You love to see the battle, but you don't love it if you're Carson Hepburn. That's definitely something he's going to have to forget and deal with. Short memory here. Don't let it get in your head the fact that one guy had at least 10 pitches in one at-bat. Up now, Connors. The right-handed bat for Western. Waterloo shifting their center fielder off a little bit to the right. As the first pitch in goes with the off speed yet again, and it's gotten more and more inside as this inning has gone longer and longer. Not quite able to find his location on that one. You heard a little bit of oohs and ahs from the crowd as that went over the batter's head. Luckily an off-speed pitch. As the next pitch, fastball yanked just outside of the zone. 2-0, a quick lead to the at-bat for the Western hitter. Connors will keep our eye on this, and we'll keep our eye on Hepburn to see how he battles back in this at-bat. Don't want to see him get 2 down in the count early. As that one hit hard to the first base side, will be a strike, as it is a foul ball. That one would have been at least 1 run, maybe even a double if it were to break through, but Hepburn catches a break, and we'll see if he can take that and get himself out of the inning. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top half of our second inning. Pitch in, and he finds his spot. 2-2 the count now on that fastball that catches the paint. Umpire knew it, Hepburn knew it, and Connors knew it as well. Hepburn likes what he sees. Gets in his windup and strikes him out on the high heat. Sits him down, leaves the runner on first base. Recovers his outing completely. We'll have to keep our eye on how Hepburn does as the game rages on, but no runs allowed so far through 2 for Hep.
Power coming up now. The fifth batter in the rotation for the Waterloo Warriors in our second game here at Jack Coach Park. The first pitch from Shannon. A strike finding the zone in the bottom half of the second. So far, no runs scored in our game, but it is still very young. As the second pitch of the at-bat, Shannon gets a quick 2 strikes against Powa. We'll see what the right-hander can do for the Waterloo Warriors. So far, we've seen 1 hit for each team as we now see our second hit for the Waterloo Warriors. Chopped right back up the middle over the second base bag. Powa makes his way to the second base to first base. Good piece of hitting there.
Now batting, number 27, Sam Shepard.
Yeah, going down 0-2 in the count. It's not easy to stay in and locked in, but that's exactly what he did for a good knock up the middle. Power setting up for Shepard. Shepard launching a home run in our last game, and it would be the deciding runs as it was the 2-run jack to make the game 2-1. As the first pitch of his at-bat taken, and the second pitch hit hard to the shortstop, who's able to corral it, throw over to 2 for the first out, and throws over to 1 for the double play. Shepard, not what you want to see, but a very good defensive outing from Western there. Able to turn 2.
Number 22, David Clapp.
Clapp coming into the game now, the relief pitcher from the first game. If I know my stats correctly, he did get a hold in that game as he came in the second last inning and maintained a 3-run lead as that one's hit hard to the right field side, blooping into a single as he makes his way to first. Two singles on the inning so far for your Waterloo Warriors.
Now batting, number 4, Sam Brett.
Would have been a lot better off if it weren't for the ground out into a double play. But the rally continues on here. The first pitch and swung on. That hits off the mask of the catcher. Umpire giving him a minute to regain his bearings. That's Grant, the shortstop for the Waterloo Warriors. Taking his cuts here. Was batting 8th in the first game, batting 7th here this afternoon as taking a second here. Taking our time. Resetting. As we're set to play ball again. Grant stepping back into the box. The right-hander for Waterloo. Wind dying down just a little bit. Still blowing out towards right center as that's a throw over to 1. Not in time to get the batter. Not in time to get the base runner there at 1 as we lock back in on our at-bat. 0-1 the count. As that off-speed pitch finds the strike zone. Really, really nicely put there. Always got to appreciate a good pitch regardless of who throws it. 0-2. Here's the count now. Swung on, hit hard into the right field side, but right to the right fielder for Western. They find their way out of this inning as the hits 3-1. The score 0-0. Brown making his way up now for the Western Mustangs as we're set to kick off the top half of the third inning. And if you aren't aware, these are 7-inning games, so we're in the important stretch here. Any run scored matters all that more. As Hepburn on the mound for your Waterloo Warriors. His first pitch in will be a ball inside as Brown watches that fly right past them. On deck for the Mustangs is Arai, the right fielder in this one. Brown, the left fielder, taking his at-bats. Swung on that pitch and missed. 1-1 now, the count to the first batter of the, inning. Carson Hepburn sets the deal. Swung on, hit hard to the shortstop. Picked up and thrown over, but forces the first baseman off the bag. That is not what you like to see. As that's Clapp taking over on first base duties. And a base runner gets on, and that's going to be the first error of the, afternoon. As that first game completely clean. A 7-hit outing for Waterloo and a 3-hit outing for Western. 10 hits on the day. None of them led in an error. Clean baseball played so far, and there's our first error of the day. It goes on the shortstop as squares up to bunt. The throw down to 2. No one covering the bag, and that's a missed opportunity for the Waterloo Warriors as a free stolen base. We'll see what the lefty here, Brown. No, this is now Arai. Lays down the bunt, and that will advance the runner all the way to third. And Hepburn doesn't pick up the ball, and we have a little miscue, and everyone's going to be safe. We're going to have runners on the corners with no outs against yet. Very clean bunts there from the right fielder, Aure. That's now runners on the corners. That's a tough situation to be in with no outs against. Hepburn's going to have to get some strikeouts to really dig himself out of this situation. That's coming up now. Nuremberger, the leadoff bat for the Western Mustangs. We've seen him go yard once already in the first game, and we'll see what he can do here. He started off the game today with a single and then stole a bag. Was the throw over to 1 from Hepburn. Nuremberger started off the game with a strikeout. It was, of course, Leatherland that started with a single and a steal. Flipped my W's. As Hepburn looks in. 0-0 the count. Still waiting on the first pitch. As the runner goes on a hit and run, skied up to left field. Camped under it. The throw over to home will not be cut off and will lead to a run scoring for Western 1-0 as the runner held up at first base. A sac fly gets them on the board. You take it how it comes, no matter what you can. And Western taking the lead yet again. It's coming up now. It's McLean, the second baseman for the Western Mustangs. Coming out now with a runner on first. No runner on third anymore as scoring that runner on a sac fly. 1 out. And the first pitch of the at-bat is a ball on the outside. Hepburn trying to battle his way back into this one. He does get the out on the sac fly, but he's got to get more clean outs regardless. His first inning. 2 strikeouts. Needs to find that yet again. As the runner goes from first on the hit and run, skied up over to the third base side.
Ranging over on it and making the grab. The Warriors get their second out of the inning. Great defensive work. And catching a little break there as we've seen countless foul balls fly over towards the first and third base side. That's the first one that really stayed fair. Well, at least stayed in the ballpark, I should say, as everything else has been souvenirs thus far. 2 outs now against on back-to-back hit and run attempts. Neither worked out. Runner stays on first base as the Western Mustangs still with their 1-0 lead. As that is hit hard up the middle, and Grant will be unable to corral that ball. A nice infield single there for Western. Puts runners on first and second on the first swing, the first pitch of the at-bat. Hepburn's got 2 outs here, having a little mound visit. He's just got to get one away as the Western Mustangs have been playing well. It looks to be 2 errors credited to the Waterloo Warriors, 2 hits credited towards the Western Mustangs. We'll see as Hep looks in and gets set. Pitch in does not find its way into the strike zone. This is Mayhew up now for Western. Checks on the runner at 2 and gets into his windup. The fastball catches the outside part of the strike zone. That's a beautiful pitch to put him up. 0-2 in the count. Hepburn just needs 1 to get himself out of here. The top of the third, definitely been one of the more difficult innings of the day for the Waterloo Warriors, just in general. One of the longer innings we've had thus far. Check on the runner at 2. Pitch comes in as the runner goes. Hit and run in effect as that will score another run. A sharply grounded ball to the second base side will not be able to be fielded as Western taken a 2-0 lead in this one. As Hepburn's getting... Well, they're seeing Hepburn. We'll put it like that. They're seeing the ball coming out of his hands, and his off-speed pitches haven't quite been finding the zone like he wants them to. He's found himself in a bit of a hole here, and he has to battle out of it. 2-0 now. Western winning. Now, of course, in that last game, we saw Western take the lead on the first at-bat of the game. And there's no difference in this game. As the pitch in from Hepburn. Outside. 1-0 now the count. Hepburn digging in now on his 1-0 count. 2-0 the score after some good hitting here from Western. And that was on a hit and run and everything. They had drawn it up to go exactly as it did. As the runners are going, no hit and run in effect. This time the throw down not in time as the runner makes it safe. You know, of runners on the corners now against Hepburn. Still 2 outs, and that's a risky move going over to that third base bag with 2 outs against. And he makes the steal work, and now you have a runner in even more dangerous positioning against Hepburn here. The wind really kicking up now at Jack Couch Park, and the defensive alignment pretty standard here for the Warriors when the right-hander takes his time, takes a second here. Western putting themselves in a real good spot here. 1-1 the count. Pitch comes in, and that one does find the zone. Beautifully placed from Hepburn. He gets himself back into this one. 1-2 now the count. 2 outs against. Strikeout, ground out, fly out, line out, anything. We'll get Hepburn out of this inning. And he wants out, you can tell. It's been a tough one. 2 runs allowed. Swung on, fell just up over the heads of the umpire and the catcher. As it looks like an earthquake's going on. I promise, we're all good here. As the count will remain 1-2 on the foul ball. Yes, the camera will get fixed in between innings. Don't you worry. As runners on first and third, Hepburn dealing. Flied up to the right field side. Camped under it. And that will end the inning. 2 runs allowed from Hepburn on 3 hits. 2 errors credited to Waterloo so far in this one, as we'll look to see what the bats can do for the Warriors as we come back in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Coming up now for Waterloo, that's Graves, the catcher, this afternoon. As the first pitch of the at-bat will be a ball taken inside here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. If you missed it, Waterloo going down 2-0 in this one, as that's skied by Greaves to center field and an easy out. Leatherland making his way up now. The leadoff bat for the Waterloo Warriors.
Now batting, number 20, Adam Leatherland.
Leatherland with a single and a stolen base his last time up. We'll see what he can do now. Dangerous man when he gets on the base paths. 1 out against, though. It's going to be an uphill battle. As the first pitch in, a strike just down in the zone. This is Shannon on the mound for the Western Mustangs. The right-handed pitcher delivers the off-speed, and it's going to be fouled back. 0-2 now. Early hole for Leatherland to dig himself out of. The next pitch in the at-bat, well outside. 1-2 now, the count. Leatherland trying to work his way back into this one. We'll send that pitch to the left field side, but right to the left fielder. Couldn't be more on the money, as 2 outs early on in this bottom half of the 3rd inning against the Waterloo Warriors. Big difference between this and the first game so far is just the difference in rallies created. Having a lot less rallies, a lot less consistent offense. It's more been sporadic in this afternoon game. Valvo, the right-hander, making his way up. He'll offer at the first pitch, but no swing. He knows what he wants, and he sees the pitches. 0-1 to start off, though. Wind blowing out to right center.
He'll take the second pitch of the at-bat. A very similar pitch. That one just a little bit more out of the zone. Shannon on the mound. 2 quick outs in this inning. Pitch in the same spot yet again. 3 in a row. We'll make count 2-1. Not quite finding the strike zone like he did on that first pitch of the at-bat, but I don't blame him for going back to it as that's hit hard to the left field side. Going back on it's the Western Mustang defender. Going back on it and makes the grab on the warning track. Just barely. Not enough on that one, as we'll see you in the top half of the 4th inning. The score remains 2-0. Justin Hawk making his way up now. The left-hander for the Western Mustangs facing off against Carson Hepburn. Hepburn allowing 2 runs his last inning. He was out the top of the 3rd. A very good outing for the Mustangs as that ball bounces up into the hands of the third baseman. Very good reaction to grab that, throw over to 1, easy outs. You always like to see that. 1 pitch, 1 out. Very, very satisfying there from Hepburn and very needed after he's had some very long at-bats already in this game. At least one that went well over 10 pitches so far. As the sun's starting to shine through the clouds here at Jack Couch Park. Swung on and missed. Hepburn's finding his heater. 2-0 on 3 hits. Those were coming on a sac fly and an RBI single from Western. They were just getting the base runners rolling that last outing. We'll see what Hepburn can do here. As the off-speed pitch just can't tickle the outside of the zone. We'll even up the count 1 apiece. 1 early out, exactly what Hepburn needed here. We'll see how he handles it moving forward and what he does with this pitch here. Swung on and popped to the first base side. Coming in on it, making the easy play is Clapp. 2 outs early on, exactly what Hepburn needed. This is couldn't be drawn up better for the Waterloo Warriors thus far. Brown, the left fielder, left-handed bat. Lots of left-handed bats in this Western Mustangs lineup. Making his way up now. Of course, the top half of the 4th inning. We're just past our halfway point in the game. As Hepburn, first pitch, well inside. Hits him in the leg. As the umpire Umpires getting together, making a decision on that. Very close call on that one. Gets past the catcher on what looks like could have been a hit by pitch. Umpires getting together. And that was a close call. Definitely going to be one that wish they had video review for, as our second visit for the same reason here. A hit by pitch and a not hit by pitch. Bring the managers out, and it's an interesting call to say the least.
That's terrible. I'm not gonna talk about it yet because I know him. That's terrible.
Runner on first for the Western Mustangs with 2 outs, trying to get their rally going while they can. Coming up now is Alray, the right fielder in the game for Western. We'll see what he can do here. The left-handed bat. The first pitch of the at-bat outside. Trying to dot up his fastball the best he can now with the runner on first base, and trying to limit as much damage as possible. In the top half of the third inning, it was interesting choices and bad mistakes that led to some runs being on the board. And, of course, Hepburn wants to have those back. We'll see what he can do now in a similar situation. As he steps off, looks over at the runner on one, will take his time. It's an important situation, a very crucial part of this game. Hepburn's got to stay locked in. He's got to stay ready to go. Pitch comes in just up top. Can't quite find the zone there, as that will put Western ahead here in the count. 2-0 for Ray. Hepburn, pitch comes in. That one down in the zone again. Ari with the good eye so far. 3-0 now the count, as Hepburn can't quite find the strike zone again. It looks like the deliberation and the manager coming out might have gotten him off his groove just a bit. Looking to get back into that now. The 3-0 pitch in and finds the strike zone. Getting his fastball back where it needs to be. 3 balls, 1 strike now with 2 outs against. Trying to make his way out of this inning. Runner goes as the throw is up top, and that will be a walk. Runners on first and second now with 2 outs still. Hepburn's just got to find his way out, as we will have a proper mound visit. Has a lot of pitches required from Hepburn thus far, as it doesn't quite look like we're going to get a replacement yet. Hepburn very much so earns the right to try to get out of this inning. But we'll have to see what he can do here, as the leash is being shortened and shortened every single pitch he throws, every single batter he faces up against. Of course, a 10-plus pitch at bat early in this game does not help him one bit. And this is definitely something that is going to be on his mind. And Hepburn, a man that he wants to be the absolute best he can be. And I know this might linger around in his mind, and he's going to come out with extra fire his next start. 2 outs against here in the top of the 4th inning. Western versus Waterloo. The score 2-0. Runners on second and first, with an opportunity to open this game open. Nurnberger, a good hitting lefty, lead-off bat. We'll see what he can do. Swing is in, and he wanted it like you wouldn't believe. Fouls it off, as there's a good strike, a needed strike for Carson Hepburn. Gets himself ahead in the count now. He can play around a little bit with Nurnberger. This looks like it's going to be a power versus power matchup. Power pitcher, power hitter. We'll see what he delivers. And he goes with the power again. Hit hard to the shortstop, and that will be a line out. Finds their way out of the inning with No runs given up. The game will remain 2-0 when we see you in the bottom half of the fourth.
Carter Kipp now making his way up for the Western Mustangs. As the first pitch of the at-bat was a ball floated in there. As that's hit hard to the center right field side, but cannot find the gap as it will be gloved down. A quick out here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Arthur Quora now making his way up. The power hitter for the Waterloo Warriors, trying to get them onto the board here in this game. 3 1/3 inning. No runs allowed for Shannon on the mound as the first pitch skied up towards right field again. This one's going to fly all the way back, almost to the warning track, but a fly out regardless. 2 quick outs here for Shannon, the pitcher for the Western Mustangs.
Now batting number 15, Jai Awa.
And now coming up is Powa for the University of Waterloo Warriors. We'll see what he can do here with 2 outs against. 2 quick outs, might I add. The first pitch of that at-bat. And you'll have to bear with the home plate cam as it is frozen here. That is not just your end, that is also mine. So the right-handed bat up for Waterloo, facing off against the right-handed pitcher. Off-speed pitch finds its way into the strike zone. As Power regroups, steps back into the box, and takes the second pitch for an outside strike. Shannon on the mound has been dealing so far as the wind picking up to left center. Pitch comes in, and that one does not find the outside part of the strike zone. It does not find a swing from Powa. That stays on his shoulders as the count advances now to a 1-2 count. The defensive alignment's normal for Western as that gets looped into the right field side, just barely over the first baseman's head. A good piece of hitting there, and a needed piece of hitting from Powa.
Now batting number 27, Sam Shepard.
Sam Shepard now making his way up. Homered once already today. We'll see what he can do in this one. 2 outs. 2 outs on the scoreboard. As he got a runner on first base. Now that one skied high towards the second baseman. Calling off everyone and ends the inning with the easy fly out. No runs scored and 1 hit for the Waterloo Warriors. As the score will remain 2-0 as we see you in the top half of the 5th inning. McLean making his way up now to lead off the top half of the 5th inning. Now, so far in our game, we've seen 2 runs scored, both for the Western Mustangs, both on Hepburn. As he starts off the top half of the 5th inning with his breaking pitch, does not find his way into the zone. As Hepburn's been pretty good aside from 1 inning today. As in that 1 inning, there was an error, a sac fly, and an RBI single, which all came together to lead to a 2-0 lead for the Western Mustangs. Hepburn still battling. Swung on, fouled hard to the third base side. 1-1 now, the count. Hepburn, we'll see the way he battles in this at-bat here. Squaring off against McLean, the second baseman of the first game of our afternoon. I'd have to assume in this game as well. It's the wind-up. Pitch in, hit hard to the center fielder. Ranging back on it and making a good catch over his head. Leatherland. First out of the inning. A hard-hit ball, a dangerous ball, but when you got the Waterloo Warriors behind you, Hepburn can trust them. As he stays on the mound even after having a mound visit in his last inning. They have confidence in him and no reason not to. As, of course, 7-inning games here, being in the top of the 5th, all that more important. As the first pitch of the at-bat, he loves going to that breaking ball, but cannot quite get it to fall into the strike zone. Pitch taken from number 11 here, Ferguson, for the Western Mustangs. Fastball in from Hepburn, and that hits hard off the pole and almost right back into play. As that's a quick 1-2 count, or 1-1 count now. Hepburn evened it up with a nice foul ball on a hot fastball. The velo definitely on display here from Carson Hepburn. the off-speed pitch. He just cannot quite seem to locate that breaking ball into the inside of the zone. He really wants to sneak it in there, but alas, not quite able to find his spot yet. We'll see if he keeps digging into that. Keeps going back to that well. As the pitch comes in, fastball. So quick, couldn't even be gloved down from Greaves, the catcher for Waterloo. But just outside. If he finds his way into the zone with that pitch, there's no way you can swing that bat and get around to it. When he's throwing hard, Hepburn, scary, scary pitcher to face. Three and 1 to count here. Swung on and hit to the center right field gap, stumbling on it and not able to make the grab as the right fielder for the Waterloo Warriors coming in, backing him up. Leatherland throwing it in, and an unfortunate situation there. A catchable ball, but the turf monster comes and grabs you.
Now batting number 18, Colin Mayhew.
That will bring up Mayhew, the designated hitter for the Western Mustangs, with 1 out and 1 base runner on. We'll see what he can do here. As Hepburn with 1 out so far in the top half of the 5th inning, and a runner on first. He gets that breaking ball to land in the strike zone. It feels good when it does land. Starts off with a nice 0-1 count here and finds himself ahead in the count for the first time in what feels like a long time for Hepburn. A man that's been having to scratch and claw his way back into these counts finds himself ahead. The runner goes, and the pitch in was fast, but the throw down not in time, as that will be a stolen base for the Western Mustangs. The right-hander in the batter's box swinging on the first pitch is, of course, number 18. That's Mayhew. Still in on a 1-1 count. A runner on second base and an opportunity to cash more runs. 1-2 now the count against Mayhew. Hepburn looking for his second out of the top of the 5th inning. With a runner in scoring position, he's going to have to lock in here. Looks off the runner on 2. And the pitch behind the batter will advance the runner. A second stolen base in 1 at bat. As that one goes all the way back to the fence. We'll see how Hepburn attacks here. 2-2 now, evened up count. A runner now on third base instead of second. Hepburn's gonna have to get a strikeout here as the infield is in. And the pitch down low. Full count now. Infield is in. They want to cut off any extra runs scored. As Hepburn trying to limit bat on ball as much as he possibly can here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Wind blowing out to left center. And Mayhew in the box. And the 4-2, the 3-2 pitch comes the 4-2 pitch. Is that one outside, putting runners on first and third against Carson Hepburn.
Wait until he takes the ball. Wait until Josie actually starts to get. Yeah. Starting now?
Jon Owen Carlson coming into the game now for the Waterloo Warriors as Hepburn's day will be done. We'll see what Carlson can do here. Carlson pitched well in his appearances he had last year. Not utilized the most out of the bullpen, but this year looks to hopefully see more innings, get into more situations, such as this with runners on first and third and 1 out against. Carlson's going to have to pitch real well, and we'll see what he can do here. Western has put themselves in as good a situation as it gets, pretty much, with an out to play with. Of course, that ground out into double play is in effect, but speedy base runners from here on out, it's going to make that extra difficult. So far this inning, Hepburn got himself an out, but allowed a single, 2 steals, and then a walk. The score still remains at 2-0. The hits in today's game, 4 apiece for each team. The bigger story would be the errors for the Waterloo Warriors, 2 for the Warriors, 0 for the Mustangs. As Carlson yanks one of his pitches, but it's all smiles. Doesn't look like anything to be concerned about here. We'll see how Waterloo reacts to a pitching change. Maybe a little bit of a momentum change. Try to swing it back towards their side. Maybe that's what it takes. We'll have to see how they attack here on defense with runners at third base and 1 out. You're going to want to turn 2 as best you can. You're going to want to check on that runner, and you're going to want to get strikeouts. So let's see what Carlson can do here on the mound. Top half of the 5th inning, 1 out. As the bunt is laid down, the runner on third base pauses. Carlson fumbles the ball at first, but will pick it up and throw over to first for the outs. Now that will advance the base runner from first to second, but could have been worse. Carlson close to fumbling that ball. Digs in, throws over to 1. Runners on third, second, 2 outs. We'll see how Waterloo decides to handle this situation. We'll see how Carlson and Greaves decide to handle the batter here. Number 5, third baseman, Hawk, coming up. Carlson looks in, gets a sign, and enters his windup. The 0-0 is an outside fastball. Doesn't quite make its way into the zone. Well, you don't want your first pitch to get jumped on like we've seen multiple times in both the first game and this game. The batters for both squads seem to be primed and ready to go. As Carlson finds that pitch in the outside part of the plate. Gets a big swing and a miss from Hawk, and will even up count 1 apiece now. 1-1 with 2 outs here in a 2-0 ball game. Waterloo trying to get themselves out of a jam in the top half of the 5th inning. Runners on first, runners on second. Nope, runners on third. As that one's chopped hard into the ground, the runner coming home would have been safe if they had picked it up, but no, that ball takes a funky spin and dribbles out towards foul ground, and that will put the runners back on second and third in a dangerous situation. 2 outs. Second and third, both scoring position. Western trying to blow this game open. Carlson trying to hold them off. Carlson getting 1 out already with the last batter bunting over, advancing the runs. Pitch in swung on and missed as that ball gets caught. That's out of the inning. And Greaves kicking himself for it. But the count will remain 1-2 And Waterloo's just a pitch away from either getting out of here or being on their backs. Carlson looks in and gets his sign. Little cat and mouse game's being played at shortstop. There's the throw in. Swung on and fouled back. This is Hawk, the man who was in the batter's box when Hepburn had to go 10-plus pitches. He eventually would line out to the shortstop. But this is a man with great bat-on-ball skills. Hawk, the third baseman in the first game, our afternoon here for Western. We'll see how Carlson decides to attack him here on the mound, looking in, trying to get out of the situation. Pitch in, swung on again, and fouled hard into the dugout for Waterloo. As this is a man that knows how to stay alive, and he refuses to go down. 1-2's the count, and 1-2's been the count for quite a while now as Hawk refuses to go down. Pitch in, and it is outside. 2-2 the count. He did have a pitch to play with there as Carlson ahead in the count basically this whole way. He can afford to miss a fastball out of zone, and that's just what we saw there. The wind really starting to pick up here at Jack Couch Park, going dead center. Carlson in the windup gets a swing and a miss on the high heat. Out of the situation. The score remains 2-0 as Waterloo attempts to answer back in the bottom half of the fifth inning. We'll see you there. Clapp making his way up to the batter's box now. The right-handed bat for the Waterloo Warriors, the relief pitcher in the first game. Now we watch today. The starting pitcher, Shannon, for Western, remains on the mound so far. Allowed 4 hits so far. No outs. No runs. No outs so far in this inning. We'll see what he could do here against Clapp, as that will kick it off with a 1-1 count. As the 1-1 pitch in, watched outside. 2-1 now the count. As the pitch in from Shannon, swung on, fouled back over our heads here in the booth. That's going to be over the first base side. 2-2 now the count. Clapp looking to be the first base runner in this inning as the leadoff bat for Waterloo. A man of many talents. We'll see if he can get it done with the bat like he could with the arm. as he watches that one fly outside as well. Fills the count now, 3-2. No outs, of course, as we're watching our leadoff bat of the inning. And Clapp to get in. As Shannon set with the off-speed pitch, finds its way into the strike zone. A beautiful sit-down pitch there from Shannon. The first out of the inning for Western. Max Todd now making his way up. He's going to be replacing Grant in the order. Todd will be starting tomorrow in Hamilton against McMaster. We'll look to have that on the broadcast as well, as we look to get as many games as possible this season of your Waterloo Warriors for you. As Todd, the right-handed bat, makes his way up. Swings on the first pitch. It's hard to center field, but not hard enough as camped under. And making the easy grab is Nurnberger of the Western Mustangs. The second out of the inning on the first pitch of the at-bat. That was quick. We'll see what Max Todd can do moving forward, and we'll see if he gets into pitch, but I doubt it at this point. Max Greaves now, the catcher for Waterloo, making his way up the right-handed bat as well in the order, facing off against Shannon, who has been breezing through this game, as the first pitch of the at-bat, an off-speed pitch, catches the inside part of the strike zone. Shannon's really been locating that first pitch, especially when it's an off-speed pitch, starting ahead in the count very often here. As Greaves steps back in the box here. No runners on. As the pitch in down low, 1-1 now, the count. Shannon now on the mound with the 1-1 pitch, swung on and fouled back. Greaves putting himself in a tough situation here, down in the counts against a good pitcher in Shannon, a man that's been dominating so far in our second game this afternoon. Both games have been tight scoring games. The first one, a 3-1 game, 2-1 for a large portion of it. This one, 2-0. As the outside fastball couldn't quite get the frame job there from the catcher. It was an excellent job, but he couldn't get it. The call. As now we're in a 2-2 count with 2 outs, as swung on and missed from Greaves will sit down the Waterloo Warriors. 3 batters, 3 outs. As we will see you in the top half of the 5th inning. It could be Carlson. It could be someone else. Make sure you stick around. McMillan now coming up for the Western Mustangs, the right-handed bat. And a lineup that's pretty fairly split, 50-50 in lefties and righties. You never know what to expect, but the righty up now for Western, facing off against Carlson, who's set to take the mound yet again, as his first pitch of the inning will be called a strike from the umpire. Nice strike on the outside part of the strike zone. We'll see how the right-hander, Carlson, will continue to attack in his second inning of work. Of course, getting the 2 big outs to close out the last inning, allowing no runs, as the second pitch of the at-bat will not find the outside part of the strike zone. 1-1 now, the count. Carlson was dealing his last time out, and he got the first guy out on a bunt, of course, to advance the runner from first to second. And then he promptly got out of the inning thereafter, as there's 2 balls, 1 strike. As Carlson on the mound, looking to limit the damage as much as he possibly can here. 2-run deficit for Waterloo in just 2 innings of work left, as that's a ball on the outside. 3-1 count. Of course, these games are 7-inning games if you were unaware, so all of the at-bats coming up matter all the more for Waterloo as they find themselves in a hole. Of course, we'll have our bottom of the 6th shortly after this, and we'll see what the bats can do as that one skied up towards the first base side. Greaves coming over on it, but it is falling. 3-1 now, 3-2 with the count. Carlson still looking for his first out of his outing, at least in this inning. We'll see what he can do here. The defensive lineman for Waterloo, fairly standard for the right-handed bat. The wind blowing out to center right, but definitely more center field, as the 3-2 pitch comes in, floated outside, as that will allow the first base runner of the inning starting off with a walk. Always what you look for if you're offense.
Now batting number 13, Alex Brown.
Brown now coming up for Western. The guy that's been getting his bat on the ball pretty effectively today. We'll see if he can do some damage now with a runner on first base. Facing off against Carlson. Getting a little righty-lefty matchup. As the first pitch swung on, fouled straight back. Carlson getting himself up in the count early here. As he's set to dig in for his second pitch of the at-bat. The 0-1. And he throws over to first base. Runner easily making his way back there. We'll see Carlson dig back in on the mound here and look into the batter's box. As the runner goes and fouled off, the hit run in effect for Western, but ineffective it was, as runner spending his energy now, going back and forth from second and first. Still with no outs on the board. Carlson looking to get his first one of the inning. 0-2's the count here. Runner on first, and you got to look for him to take off. Already has once now. As we get a little bit of time, reset, reload. Carlson looks in and gets his sign. Runner takes his lead off as that swung on, hit hard to the third baseman. Will get bobbled, picked up, and thrown over, not in time. As that's a tough one for the Waterloo Warriors, tough one for Carlson to watch happen.
Now batting number 9, Adam Aubrey.
That's going to be runners on first and second in what could have been an out, but definitely a tough play to make. Third baseman credited with the error on that one.
As Carlson now has to dig in with 2 runners on yet again. This time with no outs instead of 1. It's not an unfamiliar situation to him, but it's not a situation you want to be in regardless. We see as he looks in, facing off against Ari. And corner outfielder for the Western Mustangs. Looks in at Carlson. Set to pitch. Lays down the bunt yet again. Carlson picks up, throws over to 1. And that one gets thrown away into the outfield. It's going to score at least 1 run as runners advance to second and third. And this is now a 3-0 ball game in the exact same situation that we saw in the last inning. It was Ari bunting it right up the gut, right back up to Carlson, who last inning picked it up and threw over to 1 with no problem after bobbling the pickup. This time, the throw was the problem. Into the outfield, we'll score 1 run and put runners in dangerous positions here. Second and third with no outs on the board yet. We do have a mound visit. As Carlson, it looks that his day is done. Running down now. The replacement pitcher. It looks to be McKelvey, but we'll get that confirmed. When we come back, we'll see you after the pitcher gets warmed up. And it has been confirmed. McKelvey will be taking the mound for the Waterloo Warriors with the infield in, runners on second and third base, and no outs. They're going to need some clutch plays here, whether it be from McKelvey himself or from the fielders. As that's Nuremberger in the batter's box, and he swings on that first one, and it freezes me up as he wants to go yard yet again. Already once today in our first game this afternoon. That one just fouled. Just fouled. This is one of those players, much like a Guara for Waterloo, that if they get their bat on the ball, that ball is going to fly. As McKelvey with the pitch. Throwing in the dirt. But no fear of the runners advancing as it gets blocked beautifully there by Greaves. It's going to require a lot of clutch plays like that from Greaves. A lot of clutch throws from McKelvey to get Waterloo out of their jam. Count's now evened up for McKelvey as he sat with the pitch. Swung on, hit hard down to the right field side, and it is carrying, and it will one-hop the fence and just sit there as 1 run will come in to score. A second run will now come in to score as this game has been blown wide open, 5-0 on a huge stand-up double from Nuremberger. He loves just shooting that ball out towards that right field side. It's exactly where he hit his home run earlier on, and now is where he's making the damage known. It's a great piece of hitting. There's not much you can do when a guy is hot like that. Felt like no matter what pitch came in, unless it was a ball well out of the zone, he was going to get bat to ball, and he was itching a swing. No outs still in the top half of our 6th inning. As the lefty McLean in the game here for Western with a runner on second base. Situation looking ever so dire for the Waterloo Warriors as their 2-run deficit has advanced to a 3-run deficit. McKelvey looks off the runner on 2 a couple times as the pitch comes in, hit right back up the gut, and that will go out into center field. The runner will hold up on third base, so we will have runners on the corners yet again with no outs still in the top half of our 6th inning. The hitting for Western has just been, well, it's been on, to say the least. If you want me to say the most, it's been on fire lately. They have been eating alive whatever pitcher Waterloo has been putting in the game here. And we're not putting in bad pitchers. Carlson, a very effective fastball pitcher when he has his stuff. Same with McKelvey. And yet the bats are just that much better so far. Western up 5-0 here, and the hits are just 6-4. This is Ferguson making his way up now, and the action so far in this inning have been a walk, an error on the third baseman, an error on the pitcher, and it's now a 2 RBI double. Not how Waterloo drew it up, and the exact opposite of how that first game was going. As the first pitch of the at-bat yanked outside the fastball, you like to see him go with it, but you don't like to see the location. As the wind blowing out to left center now. Changing up directions. Right-handed batter. As the throw over to first. Not in time. No tag. Can be made by Clapp there. As McKelvey resets. Runners on first and third. You, of course, want to look out for the stolen base at 2. As a beautiful fastball from McKelvey finds the outside part of the plate, hitting that outside quadrant, and beautifully so. That's the type of stuff you expect from McKelvey when he is on. Just when you have a hot batter like Nuremberger, they're going to get their bat on the ball. As the runner goes on the 1-1 pitch and the ball winds up in the dirt. Another good block there from Greaves will stop any potential runs from scoring, but it's still an ugly situation for the Waterloo Warriors. 2 balls, 1 strike for McKelvey. No outs yet. Runners on third and second. Infield is still in, has been in practically this whole inning now. As the count, yes, 2-1 for McKelvey. He's locked in on the mound, ready for his pitch. As there's time called. Game slowing down just a bit here. Western trying to play with the pace and trying to make the game their own. As the pitch in gets skied up to the left field side. Shepard running in on it, but called off by Leatherland. In center, a beautiful sliding catch. Denies any base runners and denies any runs from scoring. The first out. It's a tough one, but they get it. Leatherland makes it look easy.
Now batting number 18, Colin Mayhew.
That ball's as shallow as it gets in center field. What a beautiful play made, and that's why you have speed in the outfield for that situation. Exactly. Runners still on second and third. The infield still in for Waterloo. Off-speed pitch to start off. The throw home in time. Great play by the third baseman. Great play from the Waterloo Warriors. 2 outs now as first base was open. There was no need to run, but with the chopping grounder, Waterloo able to get out the base runner for Western.
Matt Isaacson.
Runners instead now on first and third base. Of course, runner didn't have to go in that situation, but did anyways. 2 outs, and Waterloo will absolutely take that. 5-0 still the score after a very good defensive play. Waterloo with 4 errors in this one, a far cry from that first game they played, which was almost perfect defensively. At least it felt great, opposite of this one. Lots of errors in this one, and when there aren't errors, Waterloo's fielding is clean. You can tell they're practicing. Just those 4 individual plays are burning them right now. The first pitch of the at-bat is strike in the zone, beautifully placed by McKelvey. You want to see him tighten up, and you want to see him play good like they did in the first game. This Waterloo Warriors team, it's a good team. But this game is one they would like to have back. As McKelvey, another beautiful pitch. That one, not a strike. And what looked like an off-speed pitch, just not making it into the strike zone, apparently. 1-1 now the count against the right-handed batter for Western. As the fastball in the dirt, he wants to get him swinging, he wants to get him missing, but not on that one. 2-1 the count here. 2 outs in the top half of the 6th inning, a dire situation. Getting corralled just a little bit. Of course, it's felt like there's been a runner on third base almost this whole inning. We'll see what McKelvey can do here. As the runner goes, and a big swing and miss on the breaking pitch. Credit him with the stolen base, but really no challenge. As the count's even up now, 2-2 with 2 outs here. McKelvey desperately trying to get his way out of this inning. Pitch in, just cannot find the outside part of the strike zone. Just an inch or 2 outside on the fastball. We'll fill up the count here at Jack Couch Park. A beautiful afternoon for baseball between the Waterloo Warriors and the Western Mustangs. Swung on and hit hard to the foul ball, third base side. Camped under and caught. Will get Waterloo out of this inning. A disastrous inning where they allow 3 runs. Lots of hits, but more errors. We'll see you in the bottom half of the 6th inning where Waterloo has a tall mountain to climb. Leatherland making his way out to lead off the bottom half of the 6th inning. Waterloo down to the last 6 outs in this one. Every single piece of hitting is going to be clutch hitting from here on out. The story of the game so far, if you have missed it here in Jack Couch Park, your home Waterloo Warriors down 5-0 to the visiting Western Mustangs. Shannon on the mound for the entirety of this game so far, and he has been excellent, allowing 4 hits and no runs. swung on, hit hard down to the right field side. Coming on it is the right fielder ranging, but unable to get all the way to it. That ball hit hard. Foul. Loveland trying to spend as much energy of the opposing fielders as he can by hitting the ball as far as he possibly can while still making it catchable. That one luckily falling. Now, the story of our last inning was, well, a tough one. A walk, an error by the third baseman, and an error by the pitcher, followed by a 2 RBI double is why we're in the situation we're in. They would score one more run later on before getting out of the inning. A disastrous one for the Warriors, as that is swung on the breaking pitch just under it and staying alive in the 2-2 count here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Loveland led off the game for the Waterloo Warriors, looking to effectively lead off the bottom of the 6th. Pitch comes in and finds the strike zone. Leatherland will strike out looking unhappy, thinking it was an outside pitch, but just catching the outside part of the plates.
Now batting number 29, Nico Valvo.
Valvo making his way up now. Didn't play in the first game our afternoon, but he is, of course, playing in this one. As the first pitch of his at-bat, off-speed pitch, a ball outside. Good eyes here from Valvo, the right-handed batter for the Waterloo Warriors. The outfield shifting to the left just a bit as the second pitch in for a strike. The wind really starting to pick up, going towards left center. That beautiful Canadian flag ironed out. As the off-speed pitch finds its way into the strike zone for a called strike. Bat not leaving the shoulder of Valvo. A very nice off-speed pitch, and this is Shannon, who, of course, has been on the mound all game so far for Western. As that one in the dirt will even up the count, 2 apiece. Taking a little second to reset here. 1 out in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 2-2 the count. As that swung on, chopped hard to the third base side. Foul ball. Trying to be the first base runner of the inning. Valvo for the Warriors. And they need as many base runners and opportunities as they can here. Down to their final 5 outs in this ball game. Of course, if you aren't aware, we play 7-inning games here in our double headers. As that one's hit hard to the second base side and just loses all momentum. Second baseman swallows it up and throws over to 1 for the second out of the half inning. That ball just timed completely. The grass has been so wild here at Jack Coach Park all afternoon. We've seen it bounce like a trampoline, and we've now seen it die like a bug under my shoe. Has 2 outs now against Western in a great situation. Shannon still on the mound. The first pitch can't quite locate his off-speed breaking ball. He's been very effective with that thus far. Swung on, and that was a big hack. Little early in the count, as that's a 1-1, a little early on the pitch. But that one, if that gets contact, that's going deep, that's going hard, as the fastball down in the dirt for Shannon. 2-1 now the count. Swung on and skied up toward the catcher, who ranges over and makes an easy grab. Waterloo is going to be in a tough situation here. The top of the 7th, the pitching has to be as good as it possibly can be, and then the bottom of the 7th, a 5-run deficit. For now, we'll have to see how the pitching goes in the top half of the 7th, and we'll see you there.
Hawk making his way up here. One of the better players from, the past 2 games we've seen today, especially in the box. He has been working that pitch count like you wouldn't believe. Maybe not the most results in the box score, but when you're actually filling out the game, he's been a guy that's made a difference. That first pitch skied up to center field, ranging back on it is Waterloo. That one hops the wall. Leatherland not able to get to it. He'll throw in, and that will be a stand-up double. Talking about not making an impact in the box score, there's an extra base hit for you. Hawk coming out early.
Batting number 29, Andrew McMillan.
Now we'll set up now. McMillan with a runner in scoring position and a 5-run lead. Anything now is just insurance for this Western squad that's really brought it in this second game. The pitcher now for the Waterloo Warriors, didn't even get a chance to shout him out, is Maharaj, the Panda. That's his first pitch of this at-bat, inside for a called ball. We'll see if he can bow his way back in. The wind dying down, not quite as heavy as it was in our previous innings. Pitch in, fouled off. Just missing it, the batter for Western. Maharaj will take that all day. With a runner on second base, still looking for his first out of the top of the 7th inning. What could potentially be our final inning here, unless the bats really come to shine for the Waterloo Warriors. As the 1-1 pitch in, finds the strike zone. Beautifully placed by Maharaj. And a little MLB update. Your Toronto Blue Jays are losing 2-0 to the Orioles. How sad is that? As Maharaj set with the 1-2 pitch. Chopped hard to the center of the field. Unable to get to it as the shortstop, but coming around to potentially score, and does. Western, right place, right time as the throw in beats him, but at the exact same time runs through the glove and unfortunately can't grip it.
Now batting number 13, Alex Brown.
As the medical staff coming out now to look at the catcher after a collision there. We're going to have to hope that he's okay on the double hit over the short, just past the shortstop. As yes, that looked like it definitely hurt the forearm of the catcher here for Waterloo. As he looks to walk it off a little bit. And we will be getting a catching replacement for Waterloo. You never like to see that. We'll hope that everything's all good. And we got the rest that was required. Of course, tomorrow in Hamilton for 2 games. And our final inning of action. Literally the last minute. Sucks to see. As the run will score 6-0 now, the score against the Waterloo Warriors. Still no outs in the top half of the 7th. Just getting a little warm-up in for the new catcher. We'll return once the game is ready. That's Smart coming into the game for the Waterloo Warriors to fill in at catcher. As the first pitch fouled, skied up, out of play. 1 strike now for Maharaj. Needs to get back into that, and hey, I just gave you a little MLB update. I'll give you another one. Addison Barger goes yard. We'll see here back in our Waterloo Warrior game. The 0-1 pitch comes in, and it is just outside. Evens up the count now, 1-1. Maharaj trying to get himself out of the situation he's found himself in. Has allowed a run to score and another base runner on second. As that swung on, hit hard out towards the left field side. 2 strikes, 1 ball. As Western back-to-back doubles to start the top half of the 7th inning.
Damage already being done. Just looking to do more. That's a good block there from Smart, the replacement catcher here. That's Maharaj with the 2-2 pitch. Flies that up and inside. And that will fill up the count. Trying not to allow another base runner here. The first two batters both reaching. That swung on, hit hard down the first base line. Foul ball. But hit hard regardless. This is a guy who is seeing the ball real well for Western. Maharaj has got a tall order ahead of him. Looking to get out of this jam. As the pitch comes down in the dirt, will walk the third base runner of the inning for Western. Really coming alive right at the right time. Of all times to have some of your best at-bats and have some of your best hits. How about making it the end of the game? Well, that is exactly what Western has done here. Already 1 run scored in the 7th, 2 runners on. As that swung on, hit hard to the third base side. Well out of play. A strike for Maharaj. Checks on the runner at 2. And floats in. Off-speed pitch out of the zone. 1-1 now. The count here in the top half of our 7th inning. You're at Jack Coach Park, where the game has been fireworks for one side as Western really putting in the runs. And a big swing there from the right fielder, Lowry. Big miss. 1-2. The count now. Our last inning was disastrous when it comes to run prevention. 3 runs scored for Western. As a big swing and a big miss. A sit-down pitch from Maharaj gets the strikeout to go. And the first out of the 7th inning. Beautifully placed ball. Ryan Nurnberger coming up now. The center fielder who has been deadly today. Ever so deadly today. A man that has been making Waterloo pay for every last mistake they've made. A home run, a double. And we'll see what he can do here. Extra dangerous man with runners in scoring position. First pitch in is a strike call. You'll love that for Maharaj. Hit hard to the shortstop and will eat him up. Just gets past him, and that will score 1 more run and put runners on third and first. The 2nd time this inning and what feels like the 1,000,000th time this game. Huge RBI single there. Great piece of hitting from the ever dangerous Nurnberger.
Now batting number 15, Parker McLean.
McLean now coming up. With runners on first and third. 1 out here in the ball game. And 7 runs now for his Western squad. Waterloo trying their hardest to get out of this one. Tough situation to find yourself in. As the first pitch in the at-bat. Thrown down. 4 ball. We see Maharaj now on the mound, set with the pitch. Runner goes, throw down, and beautifully placed. Smart guns him down with the hose. 2nd out of the inning. Shout out to your catcher on a pitch that was gunned in there. And then gunned right back to 2. Very satisfying work. You love to see that from the catcher. As Maharaj still facing off against the lefty bat who hits that hard down the right field line, but foul ball. Gets Maharaj up in the count 1-2. With 2 outs, a chance to get himself out of this inning, allowing 2 runs to score and allowing 3 base hits. That one swung on, hit towards second base, coming in on it and unable to contain it is the Waterloo Warriors. Another run will score, making this one an 8-0 game. Good piece of hitting here from Western.
Now batting number 11, Ewan Ferguson.
Another RBI single for Western, as they have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 batters come up. 8 now, just this inning. As the first pitch inside. 1 ball, no strikes here with 2 outs. Back-to-back innings, the Waterloo Warriors have given up 3 runs in as that one's hit hard past the shortstop, and the hitting clinic continues as that will squirt past the left fielder there, but no harm. Runners will be on first and second on a big single. Back-to-back singles for Western.
Number 18, Colin Mayhew.
Mayhew now making his way up, a dangerous hitter in this Western lineup, and in this situation, man, that could really put on some numbers. 2 runners on, and Western, no plans on slowing down anytime soon, with that wind blowing straight, directly out towards center field. Pitch in, swung on, hit high, and foul ball to the first base side into the bleachers. Souvenir for a lucky fan, as Maharaj looks to reset now, up in the count with that foul ball. Just trying to limit as much damage as he possibly can here. Swung on and hit to the third base side. Picked up, thrown over to 1, and that will take us out of the top half of our 7th inning. 3 runs allowed for the Waterloo Warriors as they head into the bottom half, the last half, down 8-0. Yuki coming up now for the Waterloo Warriors. Facing off against Shannon, who is getting the 7th inning and a big strike call to start off. I looked like a strike. Called the ball by the umpire as the second pitch swung on by Yuki, hit hard to the third baseman and thrown over to 1. 2 outs left in the game for the Waterloo Warriors. They're going to have to put up 9 or 8 runs in that time.
Now batting, number 15, Jon Owen.
Pawa making his way up now for the Warriors. This is a tall order, a tall mountain to climb. But we'll see what they can do. All eyes on Pawa now, the right-hander stepping into the box against a normal shifted Western infield and outfield. And because of that normal shift, the first baseman ready to catch a line out. Pawa out on his first pitch, and now we're down to our last chances.
Now batting, number 27, Sam Shepard.
Sam Shepard could potentially be our final out of the game. I don't want to see that. I'm sure none of you watching at home want to see that, as Shannon, an excellent game so far, and it continues. Off-speed pitch making its way into the zone. 0-1 now. As the second pitch of the at-bat. Outside. 8-0 is the deficit for the Waterloo Warriors here, with 2 outs against. Shepard, their last chance. As another pitch finds its way into the zone. Shannon has been eaten in these last few innings. Like that, 8 straight batters retired. As that's a big block there from the catcher for Western. We'll take a little second to regroup as the counts evened up at 2 apiece. 4 hits allowed, all of them coming in the 4th inning or sooner for Shannon. Those 4 hits were the first batter of the game, the first and third batter of the 2nd inning, and then the 3rd batter of the 4th, as that one is fouled. Staying alive is Shepard. Waterloo is, of course, going to keep fighting, no matter what. But this situation is looking dire. You always know it's a tough situation when the ever-rowdy Waterloo Warriors dugout is, well, silent, like they're at the Opera House. As the pitch in, fouled off. Staying alive is Shepard here on the 2-2 count. Two and two count now. Shannon looking to put the game away. And with an inside pitch. Fills the count. 3-2. 2 outs. And what could potentially be the final pitch of the game. Swung on and missed, and it will be a complete game shutout for Shannon. A 4-hitter with minimal walks. I'm not even sure he did walk a batter that game. So 4 hits, no walks, tons of strikeouts, and no runs allowed. 1-1, the Waterloo Warriors and the Western Mustangs will go in our Saturday of games. We will, of course, be seeing you tomorrow in Hamilton against the McMaster Marauders. I've been Curtis Collings. Thank you so much for tuning in to our games here at Jack Couch Park. I had a blast, and hopefully you did too. From everyone at the University of Waterloo, we thank you for tuning in. And until next time, thank you.